that's what we have to talk about Tobias's family situation.
His family situation is kind of horrible.
All through this first book, there's all these moments where Jake's telling us about Tobias's family and how he gets treated at school, and it's just this whole thing of feel bad for this kid.
As in his head in the toilet.
Yeah, Jake meets Tobias while these two huge guys are flushing his head in the toilet.
And that's how he's introduced a lot of the time too.
But Tobias is an orphan. His parents have just disappeared at this point in the story, as far as they know. And he has an alcoholic uncle.
and a not too nice aunt.
And they live, he gets shuffled back and.
That's really worse than, if they had died at some point. It's just him thinking that his parents abandoned him, and then he's got aunts and uncles who don't want him, school who nobody likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of what makes him pick his hawk morph.
He really was the perfect personality for it.
Yeah.
But that's always been one of the most depressing parts of the books for me.
Well, I guess that depends on whether you think that he wanted to be trapped as a hawk or not.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. I always thought about if he wanted to or not, because it seemed a lot like he wanted to.
Yeah, they mentioned that quite a bit later in the series, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. They do. But the thing is, because we're not there when he gets trapped. But what seems to be through most of this book is that he enjoys being the hawk so much more than being himself.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have her demorph or anything.
Yeah, at the beach there was a line where he said how much he hated morphing back to human. And that was kind of the first foreshadowing of it. And
then just when Cassie's taken down by the cop controller into the Yerk pool, he's already in hawk morph, and he doesn't want to morph out. Actually, when they go to the gardens to get their battle morphs, he says, "I don't have to go in. I've already got my hawk morph. That's all I want."
Yeah.
It sounds like he's planning.
I'm paraphrasing.
Also, yeah, it's something very close to that.
It would have been interesting to see his reaction to the hawk mind before he was trapped, because when he was trapped, it was kind of like fear of becoming the hawk, but before it must have been,
like this is awesome kind of thing.
Like that's the body he wanted to have.
Yeah, because there's so much freedom, so much more freedom, as he can fly away from all his problems. I think that's the whole thing.
It's very literal.
And just being a predator, being a completely different end of the spectrum.
Feeling strong.
Yeah. Alright, anything else on the first book? The battle down in the Yerk pool.
Oh, right, that's kind of important.
Just a little. That was very cool.
Yeah, that definitely was one of the coolest.
I think it was a really good their first battle with the Yerks. They didn't win per se, but they made a good strike.
Yeah, they got out with one person.
They wanted to actually free someone.
Yeah, they got one controller.
They probably would have been able to free Tom if he hadn't stopped.
That was kind of a representation of the whole series, they just managed to get out and they did a little bit of good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it that controller that they freed? Do you think that's the crazy lady in the first Megamorphs?
That is always assumed, right?
I'm not sure. It's a very good question.
Got crazy pretty soon.
I never thought of that.
Well, who else was there really?
Well, doesn't she have a Yerk with her or something?
Who?
I think there was one in a jar.
Who else was resisting the Yerks before they came?
Yeah, but
there was the Horde Brigadier that started afterwards, and then there were the Chi really, but they didn't do anything aggressive, so that there really weren't any other people being freed. So yeah, probably.
Well, there's got to be some controllers who were, struggling. There's got to be someone who was strong enough to fight the.
Fight it.
But yeah, they come out the other end of the battle. They don't feel like they've accomplished much. But I personally think that that for their first fight they did really well.
Yeah.
At least they got one person.
Well, I mean, yeah, they weren't very experienced with either, so it's not like they could have done that much better.
And they had to kind of rush it, didn't they?
Yeah, they managed to save Cassie, which was really the big one.
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing for the battle, was just to get. Really, it was to get Tom in the beginning, and then to get Cassie once they found out she was Cassie.
For the amount of times that they ended up having to go to the Yeerk pool and do crazy schemes to rescue someone or to do something, they did really well for the first time ever seeing it or anything.
Yeah, no planning, just sort of rushing in.
Yeah.
It was good how the Yeerks got more advanced and more prepared for them as they were more prepared for the war as well. Like, back then, the Yeerks weren't really expecting anything either.
Yeah.
So they were both a little new to the kind of war that they were going to be fighting for the next 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's about it.
Anything else we need to discuss, Froggy?
Yeah.
Can we think of anything else? Just off the top of our heads?
Oh, the big one. This is the big thing that often comes up in conversation. The fact that that Jake is able to use thought speak while he's still human.
Oh, right.
That's the ultimate KASU.
KA stuff.
The first of several,
Yeah.
I'll say.
The first of many.
Many.
Yeah, the explanation that's in the anime. Yeah, essentially, what happened? I think originally, thought speak worked that they could send out thoughts, but also if thoughts were directed at them, they could read them. I think that's the idea, and then she wanted to change it before the books, were published.
Oh, right, because Elfangor had mentioned something about that when they were wondering if they could read their thoughts, and he had read their thoughts while they were still human, and he said that Mr. 3 can't hear their thoughts unless they directed at him.
And then he can't hear their thoughts at all.
Yeah, the whole thought speak idea was a little unformed with that first book, but I think what she does end up going with was really the best route to take it.
Well, the idea of thought speak is very complicated if you think about it.
Yeah, so then they have to be amorphic.
Puts a lot of restrictions, time limit, morphing suits, the difference with the thought speak, the range, that really offer a lot of interesting stories. This is the book where it's all set up,
Yeah.
The thought speak is fairly complicated without being able to do it while you're still human. So I think stepping it back that little bit, simplifies it slightly.
Although that would be pretty cool if you could do that.
Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
So if you haven't read the first book, which I assume you have if you love Animorphs, you can read the ebooks, which are all available for download.
Or if you want to read it again.
Available. And all of the books are available for download on RAF, the Animorphs Forum.
Or you can listen to the first 2 chapters on the audiobooks.
I think we should give the forum address, shouldn't we?
That may be helpful.
What?
Forum address is really confusing. I can never type it in and find it.
Wait.
It's just animorphsforum.com.
Yeah, it's animorphsforum.com, dude.
How hard is that?
Yeah. So if you want to go to the forums, no, that's alright. I always type in the address that comes up at the top of the actual forums as well. But if you want to visit the forums, just go to animorphsforum.com.
I always try to put in richardsanny.com forums and .com. Yeah, that's what I always do.
I actually have it. I have it in my favorites list. But when I'm at university, I just go to my my emails and I've got links in there. Animorphs Forum. Oh yeah, there you go, guys. So visit the forum. Yeah.
Or else.
If you haven't already, you probably wouldn't be listening to this.
Alright, so what's next? Tell us, Froggy. Tell us, Jax. Ah, yes. Ask Jax.
Oh yeah. Ask Jax is coming up next.
Listen to it. It'll be good, maybe.